Hello, darling.
Welcome back to Skunks at the Garden Party. We took a little unscheduled hiatus there because I had a paddy.
Mm.
We did have a date to record last week, but I got my knickers in a twist because I didn't feel like I knew what to say or what to talk about. So apologies, everyone. That one was on me. And then obviously subsequently there has been a lot happening,
Yeah.
and we're happy to have an opportunity to be here today. But I imagine this one will also be a tough one.
Yeah. I've been a little worried about this one, but also really looking forward to getting the opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah, because obviously what has happened is we put a date on the calendar today to talk about Pride.
Mm.
Because it was going to be, obviously it was CSD in Berlin, which is why we wanted to record an episode.
Yeah.
And then obviously subsequently there was an attack, and obviously someone died, and I think 14 other people are still
28.
28 people
It's
injured.
28. Yeah. It was initially reported as I think 16, and then that went up to 28 with I think 4 or 5 having been in some level of critical condition. We've not had any more deaths announced. Um, but it has been announced that the person that died was I think 65-year-old woman from Poland who'd come over to celebrate Pride with her daughter. So it
Oh,
was an ally.
oh
Yeah,
God.
I know,
Oh
I know.
God. It's just, hey, we're here to sit with it.
Yeah.
And a big hug to anyone listening who's feeling affected. I know there was a shooting in Seattle as well in the
Mm,
direct sort of aftermath, and it's just, I
mm.
think what's difficult is we're all trying to do what we can to maintain some sort of foothold in the day that we're in, and
Yeah,
you had to ring me that morning.
yeah, yeah. I told you. It was it was such a difficult thing to come to terms with because obviously we lost one of our own, we lost one of our allies. There were
Yeah.
there were more injured. The news came in, and obviously I was just heartbroken for them, everyone that was there, their family. But it's just so difficult because look, Berlin is a city that, in my opinion, is has not been this divided since the wall was up. You
Yeah.
know, like politically, it's just so divisive right now, and even within the queer community, it's so divided. It's so difficult. So for this to come in, it was honestly just the last thing that we needed on top of everything else.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it was so hard to find the words in the moment. I actually made a little note because there was one piece of content that I saw that really summarized how I felt.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to read that. So this is by Monaz069. This is actually a really small account. It didn't go viral, but it was the piece of content that spoke to me the most.
Yeah.
Somebody died, but first things first, let me pray that his name is Lukas, Simon, Tim, Dieter. Anything German works. Not because it matters to me, but because I fear the narrative. We won't talk about who we lost, or that our safety was never real. We will have to explain and argue and redirect a conversation over and over again, hoping that ethnicity, the religion of him, will become a background info. It's been a few hours, and I know more about him than who he killed. It's been a few minutes, and my mind goes, how long will it take Alice Vidal to turn this information into a weapon? A weapon against the people who could be her community. But no, remember, she's not queer, she's just dating a woman. Anyway, how ashamed I am that they actually trained me to first pray his name is please Lukas, Simon, Tim, or Dieter. I wonder what her name was, but for now, let me first get my arguments together. Let me collect my words precisely so I can shut down the Islamophobia that they will cover as allyship. But first, let me pray it was Lukas, Simon, Tim, or Dieter. Yeah.
I don't know whether you and I are totally ready to have a full blown conversation about the weaponization of Islamophobia right now, but it is obviously
Mm,
a really important aspect of
mm,
what happened in Berlin is the way that the narrative is created that readily supports the wider agenda, of course, of the ruling elite right now. And I think for me, you know, in what you just read, and I saw that piece of content as well, the idea of they have trained me. They have trained me to first have to, and you did the same thing. You called me and you were like, I was awake all night praying that this guy's name is Hans. Do you know what I mean? Like, because we knew the likelihood was it would be Abdul, you know, who was born in Berlin, who is entirely a product of that environment, the German environment and the German system. But again, it's so difficult at the moment. I think there's so much of this online. It's like you get the whole, now isn't the time, now's the time to grieve. I get that, right? Then you get the whole, yes, but we have to have this conversation. And it's just, I think there's still such an attitude of kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't with these things that are leading us to a place where many of us think maybe it's just better not to fucking comment. It's better not to say anything. It's better not to formulate an opinion. And I think that's really dangerous because it's cultivating us keeping really quiet.
It is really dangerous because, you know, like Alice Vidal would have been getting all her notes together for the press conference that she'll inevitably be doing about the rise of Islamist hate in Berlin. You know, the way that it was reported on, the way our government spoke, they didn't even talk about it as a homophobic attack.
Yeah.
You know, they spoke about it as sort of a being against our civilization. They couldn't even name it for what it was.
Yeah, 100%. And it is infuriating. And that weird kind of grief-rage combo is something that many of us are not unfamiliar with now. But it's also incredibly difficult. And obviously, I know you needed to, and I absolutely needed to just take a few days to sit and let what was happening just kind of move through me, because it's just devastating to have to continually come to terms with the fact that this is just the reality of the world that we're living in now. You know, when you rang me and you went, have you seen what happened? I actually thought London immediately, because Iran had mentioned the fact that they wouldn't be adverse to attacking Britain. I was like, oh shit, we're going to have something, it's going to be, and it was Berlin. And only 10 years ago, of course, somebody drove a vehicle into a crowd at a Christmas market in Berlin at the end of 2016, and people lost their lives. And, you know, just so sad, especially because we were going to sit down and have an episode today and talk about Pride as really important and really positive, and it is. So I think it's really important that we don't let what happened in Berlin completely overshadow that this year, because actually it was one of the biggest, strongest displays of Pride and Pride as protest. I think London broke records, especially for the trans
150k. Yeah, the previous year
1,000.
Previous year was 100k. So it's
Amazing.
just absolutely beautiful to see that those kind of numbers.
Yeah, I remember though I was at Trans Pride in London, I think last year, because I met up with our friends Tara and Say, and we ended up in Trans Pride, and it was amazing to be there. It's such an incredible atmosphere, but the reality was there were people on the sidelines shouting absolutely disgusting things and being utterly ignored by the police.
Yeah.
Utterly ignored by the police. I saw footage online this week of racists down in Kent throwing literal Nazi salutes in the presence of police officers, and just being left utterly unchecked.
It's completely fine. I mean, here in Berlin, there were people there were Nazis protesting against CSD, and they were allowed to be there. Yeah. They were allowed to be there.
But you can't be there in Britain now holding your sign that says I support Palestine action completely peacefully, not yelling or shouting at anyone. You can't just stand there and hold that sign now without being arrested, detained and charged with terrorism. But they can stand there yelling and shouting the odds and throwing a Nazi salute and be left alone. So it tells us that our society now absolutely condones one behaviour and condemns the other.
Yeah, I mean, whilst, you know, what was happening at Berlin Pride was going on, you know, we had our International Pride, which is a more sort of leftist pride organisation, and, you know, people were being beaten up and arrested left, right and centre for their support of Palestine, but, you know, a car was able to drive into...
By someone who was under police surveillance at the time, I might add. So
Yeah. He was supposed to be going into a sort of like reform program on the Monday. It's just, anyway.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to say it for the other skunks who are literally loitering in the bushes at the back right now. I smell a rat.
Yeah,
I don't know how
same.
tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist I ever get comfortable being, but I think there is some part of us that has to be deeply suspicious of the way things are reported. Absolutely, but also I do believe that governments at times allow things to happen that could have been preventable because ultimately it will benefit the narrative that they
Yeah.
need, and sowing division amongst leftist LGBTQ pro-Palestinian people by blaming Islam right now very much suits the agenda and where Germany is politically at the moment. And it's devastating to have to think like this. Like the what you read there, the bit of this I'm trying to get at is that they have trained me now into having to ask certain questions and sit in a place that feels suspicious and weird, and I fucking hate them for it.
Yeah, and I mean, they've shown us time and time again that they don't care about queer life and will continue to use us as a political pawn for their agenda. But yeah, anyway, I last night I went to Brandenburg Gate because I'd been trying to for 2 days. The next day there was a vigil, there were speeches, some really powerful stuff, and I just couldn't. I couldn't be there because a big part of it was I was worried that I would be around people there that were quick to blame in a way that I didn't want to be around. So I took my time yesterday in the evening and went to pay my respects by myself, and I love us. I love us as a community, like going there and seeing this absolutely enormous display of flowers, signs, letters.
I'm gonna publish the photos with the episode so people can see what you were able to see when you went there last night, and that big display of solidarity. And it is really moving, and it is, like you said, it's devastating, but it's beautiful. There's something really beautiful about what humanity can be that I think is being revealed to us in this moment, and we have to absolutely hold on to that. But yeah, a very, very tricky week.
I was reading one of the letters that somebody had written, and they were talking about how they would if there was reincarnation, they would choose to be queer in every lifetime. And I was sobbing my eyes out because I feel the same. Like I was saying, I love us so much. And just, despite all of the division and how they pit us against each other, as a community, I love us. And that was really beautiful to see that yesterday. And it definitely helped me with my healing on this.
Yeah. And again, thanks for sharing the photos, and we'll share them with the episode so people can kind of take that moment to reflect and kind of connect with Berlin and what happened. And again, just, it's very easy to be reactive, and we want a reason, and the blame game begins, and just that little bit of distance in terms of, who really benefits from this conversation right now. There's a lot of that happening online at the moment. Who really benefits from this conversation?
Don't. It's been a really hard few days, and then in the midst of that, Boy George releasing as a white. Right, let's go through this bit by bit. It's a white person that released a reggae song that he proudly created with AI.
I literally can't.
Endorsing Israel and denying its genocide on the people in Gaza.
I mean, here's the thing: if you're not British, you might not even know who Boy George is. It were Culture Club like that big a deal? I don't know. Sometimes when you're British, you're like, oh, this is someone everyone knows, and then you realise, like Mr. Blobby, maybe.
I think Culture Club were that big. I mean, here's the thing. For me, as a person sort of coming into my queerness, Boy George was huge. People used to shout at me and tell me I was Boy George. Like it's always been there for me. And like the makeup, the style, to some extent the music, it was something that it was somebody that was there and that was a bit of a role model for me as I was coming into who I was as quite a feminine, androgynous looking person at the time.
Not a lot of that in the mainstream back then, obviously, so a pioneer in many ways, which is what makes what has happened. So Boy George, British pop star, I guess.
Yeah.
Not
Pop
anymore.
star, yeah.
I saw an interview where Boy George was on talking to Fern Cotton and was like, I've used AI to write 5 albums. Well, you haven't written 5 albums then, have you? And she was all like, oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah. It's really fucking awkward, isn't it? And he's so
Yeah,
proud
you're
of
like,
himself as well.
really, you're just openly admitting that your last 5 records were written by AI. But anyway, yeah. So this song is an AI song, and you do have to hear it to believe it. But please don't go and stream it anywhere. Don't go and stream it anywhere, because the whole name of the game for Boy George right now is clearly revenue. That's the only thing that he cares about. So don't go and listen to it. But like I told Kev this morning, I was like, so Boy George brought out a pro-Israel reggaeton kind of song that was written by AI.
You serious?
And Kev was like, oh wow, awful. And then because it came up linked in a like news thing on my feed, I was like, oh my god, you can hear it. And he listened to it, and you do have to hear it to disbelieve it. Like, the absurdity of it only really hits when you hear this ridiculous anthem to Israel. And basically the lyric is, you say genocide, we say
I say war. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, and this is what I mean, it's tough right now, and we're talking about it. That's what we're here to do. When you wake up in the morning and there has been a devastating attack in Berlin, and within a couple of days someone like Boy George has brought out their pro-Israel bullshit propaganda AI song. Just die. Top of the bonfire, honestly. It's going to be Taylor Swift and Boy George on like twin spits at this point. Eat the fucking rich.
Yeah. Paint your fucking neck black and get in the bin.
Yeah, get in the bin. Boy George can get in the bin. What a disgusting cash grab. Yeah. I hope it backfires as brilliantly as I think it is, and removes any semblance of legacy that rancid man ever had.
Yeah, well, you know, it's sort of a desperate clawback to having a career.
Yeah, but like, imagine sitting there as an artist, as a creative, as a fucking gay person in the world right now, being like, do you know what? My cultural contribution really needs to be in this moment. An anthem to the Israeli victims of October 7th. Who in their right goddamn mind?
And I don't even need to write it myself. I'll just put the prompt into ChatGPT. That's it.
And it'll be absolutely glaringly obvious to everyone that's what I did. And just to add insult to fucking injury, let's make it reggae because I'm white. Like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway, to say I'm on my last nerve at the moment is an understatement, I think.
Same.
I honestly think we are going to be this sort of... We've always felt like a slightly lost generation. The kind of grunge post-80s boom generation. But I really think, like, for me at the moment, it feels like our job is in having to mourn the old world and the futures that were kind of sold to us, while staring down the barrel of actually not knowing at all what the world is going to look like in another 12 months, 2 months, let alone 2 years. I literally, at the moment, cannot sit here and visualize what the shape of the world and our society is going to be in 24 months.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's been a time necessarily... Oh, well, I don't know. The Cold War must have been a pretty wild time to be alive. In terms of this, like, permanent tension. I don't think I've relaxed. Like, I was trying to... Again, I was talking to Kev this morning, but I was like, our generation will do the whole things have not been the same since the planes hit the Twin Towers. That was one of those pivotal moments.
Yeah.
You know? But I just feel like a big part of what we're all struggling with now is that the future that we had ahead of us as like 80s kids, 90s kids especially, that world just doesn't exist anymore.
No, completely. It's because also there's just this feeling of wondering sort of how much longer we've got left, how much longer we'll be able to live with any sort of, you know, level of comfort or
So to keep it positive,
yeah, actually, I have some notes on London Trans Pride.
Fuck yes, let's hear all about that. Let's hear it for the dolls.
Yeah, let's not forget that, whilst we did have that horrendous attack in Berlin, which obviously um, put such a dampener on that beautiful day for
Yeah,
so many.
yeah,
London Trans Pride had 150,000 people in the streets. That's
yeah.
huge.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I was going to say, from being there that year that it was 100,000, and being aware of those people thinking that they had the right to kind of stand there and say what they wanted, another
mhm.
50,000 people getting on the street to meet that really, really matters. Really matters.
Beautiful. Well, we'll go next year. Obviously, the only
Yeah.
reason I wasn't there this year was because of the move. But next year, I already said to Alice, we'll sit in the park the day before. We'll make signs. We'll have a picnic, and then the next day we'll all go to Trans
Yeah,
Pride.
Alice's sign needs a special
Oh my god!
mention.
Oh, it really does. So, and our friend Alice's sign, it was a big white sign covered in hearts that said,
Little love heart.
Little Love Heart said, I'm a total slag for trans rights.
Me too, Alice. Me too. And we thought it would be a good T-shirt, but we also think, like Boy George, slag isn't something that travels across the
Yeah.
international borders. It would be I'm a
Yeah.
slut for trans rights.
Yeah, because, a total slag is something that came from British soap opera EastEnders, where Kat Slater famously said, I didn't become a little bit of a slag. I became a total slag. And it's sort of something that's quite iconic for people that grew up when we did in the UK.
This is another moment where I'm like, I love us.
I love us.
You know? Oh, Cat Slater, the mood, the moment. I think we all need to be a little bit more Cat Slater.
A little bit more Kat Slater. All right, so do you want some facts on London Trans Pride?
I'd love some facts to help inflate my poor heart today. Yeah.
London Trans Plus Pride is the largest annual trans rights demonstration in the world.
Fuck yeah.
Drawing a record-breaking 150k attendees last weekend. It was founded as an alternative to corporate pride events and to centre the safety, joy, and specific legal rights of trans plus people. The first London Trans Plus Pride took place in September 2019, drawing over 1,500 people marching from Hyde Park to Soho Square. So, you can see the growth in that time. And the reason that it got started is that at the 2018 main Pride in London, a small group of anti-trans activists forced their way to the front and led the march, leading to the organisation of Trans Pride in defiance of this bigotry. So founders Lucia Blake and Finn Love decided that London needed a dedicated non-corporate space. And then, unlike mainstream Pride festivals, it strictly prohibits corporate floats, brand sponsorships, and commercial monetization, operating entirely as a grassroots, volunteer-run protest.
Amazing.
A notable moment would be the 96-meter trans unity quilt. The community created a massive 12-panel patchwork quilt featuring over 300 contributions of personal stories, family celebrations, and memorials. And it is permanently preserved at the Bishopsgate Institute archives. I'd love to see that.
Yes. Yeah. This is who we are. This is what we have to remember. We make 12-panel quilts.
Exactly. It's the creativity, isn't it?
And tell each other's stories, and we see the need for something and we create it. Like I get obviously desperately upset, and I know you do as well, but I also refuse. I flat out refuse to let go of the hope that I see in this moment for us as well. Because we are at this weird threshold of having to let go of what was, but that means what is ours. We are going to be the creators of that. It feels like a ton of pressure because it is. But what we allow from here is going to matter. So wild times to be alive, but let's hear it for the dolls, especially in London. And part of the reason that I'm really emotional, even thinking about Trans Pride and thinking about Berlin, is because I just can't stop thinking about the first time I went to CSD in Berlin.
Me too, yeah.
And I think part of the reason you and I have been very hurt this week is because we're two people who left the south coast of England for Berlin, because Berlin was somewhere that felt more accepting and safer for us.
Yeah.
And I went out that day in my pants, my sparkly silver boots, and my thank God for abortion t-shirt, and an electric blue wig.
I remember these pictures of this.
Yeah, like, and people will think that I'm someone that had always had the confidence to do that, but I wasn't. Right? It was the queer people in my life that welcomed me and held me in community that taught me that confidence. Right? Yeah. It's the trans people, especially in my life, that have taught me the confidence to live my authenticity and to present in a way that I choose, even if it isn't, you know, for the male gaze with a Z. Right? And it's just, I just think about how bolstered and confident and a part of I felt, and how protected I felt, and how safe I felt, and how important that is, and how punctured that was, obviously, this week. But how that's the point. We can't let them fucking take that from us. You know, everybody next year I know will be there in their pants and their thank God for abortion t-shirts and their fucking wigs, and they will dance and be louder and more fucking queer than they were this year. Yeah. You know, so yeah, I just keep thinking about striding through Tiergarten, where this attack happened, in the evening, bathing in that solidarity, right? Walking with trans sex workers, topless trans sex workers who'd written pro-ho in lipstick, right? And just being like, yes! And I just, it's just such a fucking shame we couldn't have that this year and it not be...
Well, we did have that.
Yes,
you know, we did
true.
have that. We had record numbers. People were out. People were loud.
Yeah, we did.
You know, I heard wonderful things about the international parade as well. You know, it was absolutely huge. You know, seeing my friends there, you know, seeing Eve Payne there with Cordy, the disabled woman that she looks after, and just texting her right away and being so relieved that they were home before what happened. You know, like it was a beautiful display of queer joy.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's got to be. That's what I'm saying. That's good. That's got to be the takeaway. That's got to be the thing that we try to remember moving forward from here, and we will. What else did we want to talk about today, other than Boy George being a bastard and the importance of pride now more than ever?
I have something that I wanted to talk about.
Go on.
So I was thinking about people that I think have been hugely influential on Pride as a movement. And I wondered if you know who the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are.
No, but can sign me up.
Oh, you're going to love this. They're a sort of big part of Pride globally. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are a prominent international order of queer nun activists. I can see you're already obsessed. The order was founded...
even the name.
Sisters right?
of Perpetual Indulgence.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with them, and I watched a documentary the other day because I just Googled, like, is there a documentary about the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence? So the order was founded in 1979 in San Francisco, but sisters can be found all over the world to this day. Here is the mission statement from their website. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are a leading order of queer and trans nuns. We believe all people have a right to express their unique joy and beauty. Since our first appearance in San Francisco on Easter Sunday 1979, the sisters have devoted ourselves to community service, ministry and outreach to those on the edges, and to promoting human rights, respect for diversity and spiritual enlightenment. We use humour and irreverent wit to expose the forces of bigotry, complacency and guilt that chain the human spirit.
How have I never heard of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence?
You'll gag, like the look as well, because they wear the habits and like full drag makeup.
Formed on Easter Sunday, she has risen, right?
Yeah.
Wow, it has everything.
The sisters act as spiritual protectors of the community, with a large presence at Pride events across the US. They raised millions over the HIV crisis and act as educators on safe sex practices. One piece of information that is such a gag: the LA Dodgers invited the local sisters to get a community hero award at their Pride night, and then they panicked and pulled the invite after getting heat from conservative Catholic groups. That then backfired completely because the LGBTQIA plus community and major Pride groups absolutely went off on them. In the end, it turned into a massive win for Pride visibility. The Dodgers had to publicly apologise, invite the sisters right back, and hand over the award to a huge standing ovation from the stadium. How fucking cool is that?
Okay, I love it. I needed
Yeah,
that.
right?
Thank you. There we go. Let's all just imagine for a moment that we're part of the standing ovation at the Dodgers Stadium for the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, right? Again,
Right?
we're brilliant. I love us.
That's the thing.
I love us. We are brilliant.
Just
And
so much beauty, so much creativity, so much love in our community, and things like that where you're just like, what community has a group of, nuns that stand for equality and love?
because I was living in Berlin, obviously, at one point I was like, I'm gonna do some performance art, and I really, really wanted to put a confession booth in the club. I wanted to go to like Kit Kat or somewhere as a slutty nun, because I've obviously got previous of dressing up as a slutty nun. I went to an Irish Catholic convent school for a period of time. I'm allowed, right? I'm allowed. I've got smacked around the head by Sister fucking Redemptor, right? Who
Redemptor.
would not? She would not. Yeah, Sister Redemptor was the nun at the Irish school I went to for a little while. Even if she's long dead, I occasionally still see her in my nightmares. So.
Oh my god, I bet.
She would not have enjoyed Perpetual Indulgence. In fact, I don't think she'd had even a suggestion of indulgence. Oh, God. This one might be a little bit clunky, and I think it's important that we acknowledge it's because we're both really tired and really emotional. But I want to ask you, how's work and the business, and kind of trying to keep a handle on all of that right now, because you have also been renovating a whole house.
Good, because I'm a person that ignores their problems and works through them. So work's great.
That's a little bit why I bought it up. I was like, how's it
business
been, babe?
is thriving, what can I say?
But I was also able to say to you, like, and I say it to you often, I don't ever want to do it in a way that's patronising, but the growth, babe. You put this heartfelt statement about what had happened, like, immediately straight on your Instagram. No fucking about. Please know who I am and where it is that I stand. And yesterday, even though you were overwhelmed and you got a whole load of work on, you recognised that need just to have that time and take that little pilgrimage and to have that pause and reflect moment. And, like, you're doing a lot. and rather a remarkable job of kind of holding it together, if I may say.
Thank you, darling. Well, for those that are in Berlin and have been affected or are struggling with what happened, Brandenburg Gate is there's still a memorial there, and on Sunday there's going to be a demo which is in reaction to what happened, but also in reaction to the racism and Islamophobia that we are seeing. So I will give you the details of that, Hannah, and you can maybe put that in the notes.
Yeah, absolutely. And stay safe out there. Again, I don't ever want to be the person doing the fear-mongering or the making people unnecessarily anxious. But because things are increasingly more divisive, people, I think, sometimes have a tendency, we all do, I do, shit, that's why I have to stay in my house now, right? I'm going to stab a man in the neck, right? We all have a tendency to be, like, reactive, especially with this, like, anxiety. And I think, just being aware of our surroundings and just, I am someone who is a gobshite and has always stuck my head above the trench. and it has reveled in that recklessness, but I've done it myself in this new world that we live in, and the consequences are very fucking real. So just that idea of, sticking together, having, when we go out to protests or a party, having a plan, just be out there taking care of each other and looking out for each other and looking at where you can make that little bit of difference at the moment. Because if we get to a point where we believe that the tide cannot be turned, then it's done, and it's not done.
No,
it's not
far from
done. It's not done. I believe we're rapidly approaching a point where everybody just has to stop. It just has to stop. People will have to just stop going to work and stop paying the fucking taxes and just sit in the house terrified about what happens next, but perhaps knowing that it might actually be better than this.
Yeah.
There's it just feels like there's a lot at stake right now for all of us, regardless of country, globally. And I know that that's a feeling intensified by these events, because they're no longer these weird rogue outlying once in 10 years. The regularity that we're having to deal with this kind of story and the impact that it'll absolutely have on you at the moment, I just think is kind of unprecedented.
Yeah.
We weren't supposed to know and see the way that we do now. But here we are.
What's going on with you? What's new?
I just feel conflicted a lot of the time, which makes it difficult for me to be productive in the ways I feel I should be. But I'm also being very critical of that at the moment. I basically feel like I'm just sort of unpacking a lot. I'm essentially returning to who I was at 14 and realizing that she was fucking right about everything. And the response at the time was to medicate me. Which I think is a story for a lot of us. When we started demonstrating excess sensitivity and starting asking questions and going, oh, actually, I don't know if I want to. Well, you have to. Do I?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that for me at the moment in terms of, what the business looks like, wanting to deliver people something that is real and of actual value. And not wanting to be part of the wider white wellness spiritual fucking grift that is taking part out, like that is occurring or happening out there right now, because I think it's really predatory and I don't want to be a part of it. But I also have to make money and live in late stage capitalism, so it's tough.
You're doing a great job. I mean, I love the cult. I love that the cult is also an ever-changing thing. I mean, I don't know how much you want to talk about what's going on at the moment, but you've brought people in, and it's all very exciting.
Well, I think what is happening at the cult, with the cult at the moment, I think everyone listening to this knows it's my online membership in my Patreon, is that I started out reading tarot and focusing on the impact I could have in those one-to-one sessions, and the cult was something I could do that would help me know where people who really liked and engaged with my work were at, and also that could create some income, because the memberships help to give you some sort of regular income as a freelancer. And then obviously over the last 6 years, the cult has grown and it's got bigger and bigger, and I've brought in different people and we do a lot of different stuff. And I think what has happened is it sort of dawned on me that at this point, I might be more beneficial in service to the kind of community that I have, the kind of more message for as many people as possible than just focusing on the one-to-one work, because I'm also bringing an energy to my one-to-one work now. There is a certain intensity in terms of what I do that possibly isn't for everyone either. So yeah, I'm focusing more on the cult as a community, but I realized that a community cannot revolve around one person that is being centered or platformed. Like that isn't a community. It's hierarchical. So it's tough for me as cult mother with a brand and a business to now be trying to build something that doesn't depend on or revolve around me. But I tried to boil it down yesterday to, I'm going to have a go at sharing because I don't think it's that difficult. And I do believe it becomes more beneficial for us all. So I'm kind of doing an experiment in the cult now that flies in the face of the kind of mainstream capitalist model of, as we are seeing growth, instead of Kev and I retaining more monthly revenue, I'm investing it back into the community by paying other practitioners to come and bring a better diversity of offerings. So as a member, your membership doesn't go up, but you will have somewhere you can land with someone at least once a week to build that cohesion and that space holding that I think we all really need right now. But is it frightening? Yes, because I'm like, Kev and I are trying to buy a fucking house. We keep getting laughed out of the bank because, you know, I'm self-employed. But the reality is I do genuinely believe that we could build something really beautiful and really kind of brilliant, like kind of already have. And it has been a little bit by accident. On my part. So I've said to all the people that I'm kind of bringing in to collaborate with me, I'm calling it the Cult Mafia, Cult Mothers Mafia. I've said to all of them, I absolutely have no idea what I'm doing. I'm absolutely making it up as I go along. But I think that we genuinely are stronger together. So let's model that for a while and let's see what happens when we do stand shoulder to shoulder and work side by side. And I'm excited about it, which I feel like I haven't been for a while.
I can't wait. I mean, there's so much talent in the cult. You know,
yeah,
you've
it's
brought
crazy.
so many people in
It's
over
crazy.
the years,
Yeah.
and getting them to be able to take a bigger part is incredible. I think it's so smart. And I mean, just as somebody who, you know, it's funny because I'm your best friend, but I also am a cult member.
Yeah.
And it's a community and a space that I just love being in. You know, like
Which is
as
lovely.
we.
Thank you.
No, I mean, as I mentioned in sort of our recovery episode, you know, I'm somebody that got spiritual in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm still sober, but I'm no longer in AA. But I missed that community, and that is what I get from the cult.
A lot of what I did with Cult Mother, you know, was built on what I found in 12-step recovery that offered me a lot of relief. And I 100% believe that our power to relate to one another through our lived experience is it. It's everything. It's my definition of magic, truly. And I found myself in these one-to-one scenarios with these people where I'm like, I need the whole world to hear your perspective, or that. I had a conversation yesterday with Haunt Punk. Our Haunt Punk, okay. So Haunt Punk is someone I'm bringing into the Cult Mafia as Cult Trickster. Because we need trickster energy right now.
Definitely.
Kind of a little bit of a resident artist as well as someone who is so creative. But I was talking to Kay, and it was one of those conversations where I actually allowed myself to be vulnerable and receive, which I'm not actually amazingly good at. And we were talking about the experience for late diagnosed autistics, especially of like this idea of unmasking or removing the mask or dropping the mask. And the idea that people always talk about it as if when you unmask, you just reveal this true self underneath. That's the process. And Kay was like, maybe it's more helpful to see it that when you remove the mask, the curated identity, the self you created to survive, when you want to look underneath it, you realize there's fucking nothing there. Just the primordial ooze. I said that, not Kay, don't. Right? I made it weird because you invested everything in the identity. So it's not as simple as just release it or let it go. You are confronted with the fact that you are a void at this point. And there comes the interesting business of recreating the self in alignment with what is actually authentic. But it was just one of those, I was like, and that's why Kay needs to be in the cult holding space and having conversations from a place of experience, because the value in that, I think, is just immeasurable at the moment, you know? But there's one part of me that is still like, I'm a bitch, I'm a boss, it's Leo season, let's go out and make the money, honey. Fuck a mortgage, I'm going to buy a house outright, let's launch a product collection, right? And there's the rest of me that's like, we don't need any more stuff, right? I just want to sit with other people that are really sad and help them survive right now. That's literally it. That's literally it.
Really got me thinking what you said about the mask and there being nothing
right
underneath because of the curated personality. I mean, you know, talk about building a brand online. I mean,
right, absolutely, you know, and that is something that's tough for us perennially. You know, we do run businesses under late stage capitalism. We have personal brands, but we're also busy trying to cling on to our humanity and our integrity and like just be humans right now. And to do and that's why I keep saying to you, you know, are you okay? Because it's fucking, like it's all the big
It's a lot.
stuff that you're doing. It's the buying the house and getting the mortgage and having to grow a business because you have to continue to survive, but also being someone that's ready just to sort of float face down in the swamp.
All of it.
Yeah.
But I never allow myself to float in the swamp
I
ever.
know, yeah.
Because I'm scared I'll never get out.
Whereas I'm here right now, like submerged up to here, going, "Come on in, it's lovely." Come and just dissolve into goo.
I'm scared of the flatworm if it's in Berlin.
Yeah. We can't go in the water anymore. They've ruined that as well. You can't take a swim off the coast of England anywhere because you're swimming in literal shit.
Yeah.
Actually, there is one thing that literally made my heart sing with glee this week. So the other week, there was humpback whales in Donegal Bay, which is only about an hour drive from where I live. We're so lucky here in this part of Ireland especially to have basking sharks, seals. It's like Ireland just has this incredibly unique ecosystem, and it is just so abundant. But humpback whales, we drove there. I made Kev drive to Donegal Bay like I thought I was going to see them. No. Like I thought I was going to see them from the, Donegal Bay, it turns out it's quite big. Yesterday I found out, I'm getting the shivers. This is good. Okay. There are 2 orcas in Donegal Bay.
Wow.
But these are orcas that are known to locals, and one of them is called Aquarius. And I think today we have a full moon in Aquarius.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I just love it.
Wow.
And this is what I mean. If you are also a little submerged right now, lean into the spooky woo-woo, the serendipity, the spirituality, the whatever you need to call it, but find something that creates a little sparkle. And I said to Kev immediately, I know what I want to do for my birthday. I need a boat tour. I need to be on that bay. I know I'm meant to get to see killer whale IRL, so that's what I looked immediately yesterday. I was like, they're there. I need to charter a boat. So yeah, I think they're incredible. I think they're majestic. I think the ocean is somewhere that we've barely explored. Just those things, like I said, that give us hope. And I'm all about the orcas still organising and destroying super yachts.
Well, they've become a little bit of a symbol.
Well, that's what I mean. Like I am team. I'm just team orca, and I love being an island because of Ireland being so vehemently sort of pro-Palestine, and just to have the orcas show up here right now as well. I just, I feel like I'm on the right team and in the right place somehow.
Gorgeous.
So
I love it.
Well, we did it,
and we ending on a happy note.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen. There's going to be some trawler later that's managed to kill both orcas in the bay, and it'll be Elon Musk's fault, and we'll have to come back and talk about that, and That's
the thing. We've got a nice idea for a guest episode next week, but it's like, well, what's going to happen between now and then that we're going to have to talk about?
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's just been really poignant at times to see the appointment for recording today with Pod Pride. And the fact that we had an intention to kind of sit down and tell our stories of kind of being in Berlin and going to that Pride. And, it's just difficult to do that today because it has to take a very, very different tone. As a mark of respect, obviously, what happened and the people who were so horribly harmed this past weekend in Berlin. So I also want to say a big thank you to everybody listening, of course, but also the other people that are sort of in our orbit, for being patient with us and really helping to support us as people who are happy to be the nerve endings flapping in the wind right now. The sculpts at the garden party.
That donation that we got.
Yeah, we need to talk about that, Kerry.
My God.
Kerry, we need to talk about this. So we were very, very fortunate. I think we should be honest. Tommy and I had a little hiatus because after my paddy, we had to decide whether or not we were going to continue to do this. Because even though you and I have obviously got quite large followings online, the podcast is a passion project where we are recording weekly for about 20 to 30 regular listeners at the moment, I would say. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely something that we want to continue to do, but we have both, for varying multiple reasons, got reduced capacity right now. So we had to have a very cut and dry conversation about whether or not realistically this is something that we could continue to do.
Yeah.
And at that point, Kerry.
Yeah, so we'd spoken about it. We were kind of going to come back to each other, and I was sort of waiting to have a conversation where it was like, are we doing it or not? Yeah. And then in the meantime,
because Tommy was like, if you and Kev are going to fight about it, and I'm like, no, we're not fighting, but...
I was like, I don't want to be involved in anything that's got you two having rows.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, it's a lot. We have to, we're running crazy schedules as it is. We have to record. Yeah. It has to be edited. Once it's edited, we have to listen to it. We have to, so it's a lot. But Kerry decided to contact us to ask if there was somewhere appropriate to send us a little cash to help things kind of ticking over. And needless to say, Kerry, your contribution at this much is pretty much, and you lovely listeners, and the whole reason we started this in the first place, but it's a major reason as to why it is we've decided to keep on trucking with Skunks.
Absolutely.
So thank you,
couldn't
Kerry.
believe that, and it coming in on the day where we were basically going to decide whether or not to keep going.
Yes,
with
it was really
just,
serendipitous.
It was a sign from the universe.
Because I was a little bit like, is anyone even listening? And so to be contacted to say, hey, I'd love to contribute. I think this is great. Please carry on. It was exactly what we needed, Kerry, and I just want to thank you so much. I want to thank everybody who is signed up and contributing via the Patreon. I know it isn't possible for everyone. Being a free member still shows your support. If you can and share, or, we publish on YouTube as well. I want to give a shout out to Jane, Jeanette, Autumn, and Lilith, our latest fully signed up skunks. Welcome to the garden party. It is starting to really stink around here. Anyway, right, I've got something I want to close with today. I came up with a crazy idea.
Go on.
So, they created all of this language for us around climate change, which is actually them just systematically destroying the environment. And the language they gave us was things like carbon offsetting, right? I came up with a new term this morning that I've called bastard offsetting. Where carbon offsetting meant that big businesses and individuals became aware of this kind of well, if you're doing a dent here, you kind of have to do something to kind of... So I kind of feel like all of us have a responsibility right now to be practicing bastard offsetting. So the more bastard behaviour that we encounter in the day that we're in, the more people are being rude and deliberately nasty or just kind of a bastard, the more that we have to engage in the offsetting. By trying to smile and trying to hold the door open and trying to not stab them in the neck right now. So that's my,
I love it. Bastard offsetting.
Offsetting.
What bastard offsetting are you focused on at the moment?
Definitely the cult. I feel like the cult is a great big bastard offsetting project. Absolutely, at this point, I would say engaging in and doing the things that you have never been allowed to do without shame. Right? Like getting close to shame and where the shame comes from is a bit of bastard offsetting, right? That whole idea of I fell into this trap and bought this tat in Primark because I thought I needed this season's spangly pants or whatever. But now I'm going to need to do a bit of bastard offsetting by donating to mutual aid.
Yeah.
Or just that awareness of energy and the way that we're moving right now, and the fact that there is obviously a lot of negativity to try to counteract.
Yeah, I think my next act of bastard offsetting is going to be that once we've moved into this house, I really want to focus on making this garden as welcoming to local wildlife as possible.
That is bastard offsetting.
Yeah, because we don't have that many green spaces that are welcoming to...
Yeah, well, my whole bastard offsetting language also kind of came from this place where I was like, I think we need to do away with this whole idea of upper, middle, lower class, because we've stratified our society based on wealth and ability to accumulate wealth. That's a problem. So let's do away with that, and let's have the caring class and the non-caring class.
Love it. Yeah.
Because there's those of us that care, and there's those of us that just fucking don't. And as far as I see it, it is that straightforward. And the caring class are going to be over here doing their bastard offsetting and building a future. And the non-caring class are going to be abandoned to whatever wretched planet it is that they've decided that they want to live on. All right? We're just not going to waste any more time, energy, or effort on the non-caring class.
Love it. Absolutely.
I fixed it.
Perfect.
I've solved all of the world's problems, Tommy. If everybody just listened to me, we'd be fine.
Bastard offsetting and focusing on the caring
Death to
class.
the non-caring class. Death to the non-caring class, right? Anyway.
Love it.
Anyway.
Okay.
All of this debate over whether or not you care about the right things when the things that you care about are things like safe drinking water and being able to eat, right? It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, with our whole chest, fuck Boy George, what a joke.
Boy George is a dickhead, yeah.
We still need pride, and it's amazing. It was bigger and more beautiful than ever. And just that little warning not to allow them to weaponize your fear in this moment. What are you up to for the rest of today?
What do you think?
Making belts. Yeah. How many Akasha belts? It was you. I think you'd done 30 of 100 last time we spoke.
60. Yasmin came to collect a bunch yesterday.
That's amazing.
I've got Jessamy coming tomorrow, and we're gonna get it done. But I have also got shop orders. I've got customer orders beyond the Akasha belt, so it's a bit mad right now. I'm having to tell shops no. So
still,
very full on.
the position we wanted to be in at one point, right? So
exactly.
Have you got a Bali trip planned for any time soon?
It's too hot to go to Bali. It's gonna.
I forget because it's raining here.
No, we have had rain, but we are apparently creeping towards another heat wave in Berlin.
Oh,
so
shit. Okay.
It's maybe not exactly.
Do you know
time,
what I realised you could do in your garden that will be welcoming of local wildlife?
What?
It could also be really welcoming for your frazzled friends if you chose to build a hot tub out there. I mean.
Oh, we're doing that.
Yeah, I knew it. Okay, I knew it. I was like, because I've said to Kev, because I have lived without a bathtub for about 4 years now, and I'm not okay. No. I have to be routinely submerged in water because I run too hot. It's that straightforward. And I've said to Kev, if this was our house, and it isn't, but when we can get a house, I would love to be able to build like a decking, but sink a tub into it so I could just go out there and soak my head whenever I fucking wanted and look at the world.
For my birthday one year, Robbie took me to this house in Brandenburg that had a hot tub, and it was one of those ones where it's like a big wooden one and there's a fire in it. And we spoke to Robbie's dad about it, and he said he can help us to build one. So.
Amazing. And that's the thing. This is the caring class. It's not about wanting to acquire a hot tub so no other motherfucker can be human soup. It's I've got a hot tub and you're my friend who's a little stressed. Do you want to come around and have a dip while I make dinner?
Exactly. That's
right?
it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sharing.
Yeah.
When did that get so passé and unfashionable? We need to make it really fucking cool to care and to share and to not hoard wealth like an insane fucking billionaire. Like, it's such a rancid look. I don't know why everyone else thinks it's really such a good thing to aspire to. You know? It wouldn't make me feel good.
No. All right. What are you doing today?
I am pretty keen to sort of have a general declutter. I've got a bit of a... I'm also doing a live sale in the Cult on like the 2nd of August, and I've got so much stuff.
What's the live sale?
It's basically you can peruse my crap and buy it if you want to. Because at one point I thought I was going to open a bricks and mortar shop. And as I sit here, especially in this space today, I've got books upon books, weird, occult, esoteric books. I've got crystals that I bought always with the plan of kind of selling. I've got Ouija boards. So it's just my weird stuff. That I think would be happier rehomed with someone else who wants to love and appreciate it. And I thought it would just be fun to play with the functionality and do like a live sale. So yeah, predominantly it's books and because I can't hoard. I could hoard my weird magic books if I wanted to, but it's definitely time to let some of it go. I'm literally surrounded here by like boxes of weird stuff. So yeah, I've got to go through it. I've got to price stuff up. I've got to think about what we do with international posting, which you know is a nightmare. But I need to be doing something. Well, yeah, I just want to do something different. I have never done a live sale in the Cult. I need to do stuff that feels fun right now. and to kind of challenge myself a little bit creatively, I think. So, yeah.
Love that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna start making these belts. And yeah, so we.
Seem so thrilled about it, babe. You're like, oh shit, it's time.
It's fine. I'll put podcasts on.
What podcast you listen to? You still listening to I've Had It?
I love I've Had It. There's been some really good stuff recently, just in the sort of YouTube world. Matt Bernstein just put out a really good one. What was that about?
I was gonna say, I reckon Matt Bernstein's probably been on fire. Oh, I tell you what. But before we go, because I thought about Matt Bernstein, because I know he was in a room with Mamdani not too long ago. I am gonna say one thing that actually really helped me was Mamdani's speech about being willing to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. Because we can say what we need to say about all politicians being rendered essentially fucking useless at this point, but I cried because I feel like it's the first time that I saw a man in a suit in a position of power look me in the fucking eye and say, yes, it's a war crime. Yes, journalists have been killed. Yes, medics have been killed. Yes, civilians have been killed. And it is not okay, and I will arrest the motherfucker. And I know Spain went hard, and I know there's the people that we know, but for someone who has got such a spotlight on them right now, who did get torn apart by his original support base for not being fucking vocal enough, he fucking listened, and he spoke truth to power, and it is dangerous for that man to do that. Absolutely wonderful to see. I felt very vindicated as someone who has been doing what I can to be pro-Palestinian, because we've been gaslit. We are gaslit every fucking day, and so for someone to sit there and go, no, what you see is what you see, and it isn't okay, was huge for me. Same, absolutely huge. So if you haven't seen it, if you're like, I don't want to listen to any of them, I totally get it, but that for me was a moment of actual bravery from someone, and who said what I felt really needs to be said.
Same. And the episode I was talking about, of a bit fruity, of Matt Bernstein's podcast, is called Lindsey Graham Died in the Closet.
Oh yeah, Kev just popped it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Honestly, for me, every episode that he puts out is a work of art.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
This one is so well done.
Yeah. We've got a link from our Patreon if you're interested in finding out more about Matt Bernstein. I'm sure you know who he is, right? But there's a link to Matt Bernstein's Patreon and more information via our Patreon. But yeah, Lindsey Graham did die in the closet. And Kev was telling me this morning that there was footage of Trump at Lindsey Graham's funeral, not able to say the Lord's Prayer. The Christian, right? The stand-up dude for Jesus.
Even I can do that.
Exactly. We all fucking can. So, yeah, talk about not being able to practice what you preach. You're not even sure what it is that you preach, motherfucker. So here we go. Yeah. Here we go. I hope that this was a return to form for us. The skunks. If it wasn't, it's because we're fucking knackered, but we know that if we are, you likely are as well. So please just feel held. Please know that it isn't just you. Please know that it can be kind of lonely, and I genuinely believe you just need to be doing whatever you need to do to take care of you right now. You are the best person to know and to decide, and just hang in there. And we'll see you next time, where we will hopefully have a very special guest.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.